Good morning, good morning, good morning, and peace and blessings to you. It's a great day. It's a blessed day. It's a Monday.
Monday.
Anything else on this Monday, know that you deserve to be blessed.
Oh yes.
Hey, hey,
Oh yes.
hey,
What Monday is
platform.
this? Is this meeting in the family room Monday?
Okay, come on, come on. We're
They
gonna have
don't know
a
nothing about
family
that.
room.
They
Mhm.
don't know. Yep. Meeting in the family room Monday. They do. Do they know what the meeting in the family room is about, cousin?
Tell them about it, cousin. Tell them
You
about it.
want me to tell them?
Yeah, I want you to
You
tell
want me to tell
them.
them? Well, hello. So the meeting in the family room is all about. You hear my little accent coming out.
I hear it. I hear it. I hear it.
It's all about us solving problems like back in the day when there were issues that arise. The grandmother would bring the children and the family members into the
Ain't no
meeting room.
way. Wait, wait. Is that how we talk? Is that how we do it?
Look, I've been practicing my acting. That's my little British thing. I hope it came out right.
Oh, oh well, I'm hoping it came out right as well, because yeah,
Darling, I
yes,
hope so
darling.
too. I'm just feeling myself this morning. I'm calming
Okay,
this morning. I'm feeling good.
okay,
So
that's what
no, yeah. So meeting in the family room is all about problem solving. Like back in the day when grandma would say, you know what? We got all this going on. Come on, let's take this to the family room.
right,
Going
right.
into the family room, just know that we're here to solve some problems. Talk
Now,
about things, get some
talk
things
about the issues, the problems, the concerns, and all of that good stuff.
all that. All that.
I think that with the meeting in the family room takes it back to old school. But I think sometimes what happens is that we don't do that anymore. And so now Corona has made us actually stop, you know what I'm saying, and take a
Oh
look.
yes.
Like, okay, so now there's a whole lot of meeting in the family rooms and
I
stuff.
noticed. I noticed that. I
Yesterday,
noticed that.
yesterday I was with the family yesterday. I hadn't been to see Tab's the Queen's house yet, so I went over because Melinda and and everybody was there, and so
Yeah.
I went over and we had a really good again a meeting in the family room. We were at the table eating the seafood Queen's yum yums, and
I'm
when I
telling
tell you,
you.
we were like really into deep conversation, but it's always um, something that we take for granted because, like, now COVID has allowed us to really rethink, like, the home. You know what I mean? Like talking
Absolutely.
and stuff like that. Have you found yourself
Absolutely.
having more like meaningful conversations and things around family and all of that just because of COVID?
Yeah, it forces you to spend time with your family, time that you have
Mhm.
spent, and then you get to really see what your especially if you are like a stay-at-home mom and then dad
Right.
is not home. And so now he's like, why the house ain't clean, why hadn't this been done?
Mm.
And so now he's home and he gets to understand that that is more than just see being a stay-at-home mom or dad or whatever is more than just a job. It's like
Right.
two jobs in one because you're having to when you're at work, you're just simply at work.
Right. Right.
You're at home, you're just simply at home. But now
Yeah.
your work is in your home because your children are your work and your house is your work. So it's a little different, you know what I mean? Versus you just, you
Yeah.
know,
I think it gives a lot to the fact that now you've made a way for you to have this connection, this way, or either not, right? So you
yeah,
may have an office in the front of the house and an office in the back of the house, like to keep yourself away from all of this stuff.
right,
So yeah,
right.
so
So
yeah,
yeah, that's it. Families are coming back together. That I do.
indeed, indeed, and I love that. Good morning, everyone.
Hey,
Good morning.
Justin.
Hey,
Good morning.
good morning. Good morning. Thank you all for tuning in. Share, 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 like. This morning, ladies and gentlemen, um our topic this morning is entanglements 2, the receipts. Okay.
Oh.
Because as my cousin put it to me on yesterday, Aug, as they like to call him, dropped a little LP, dropped a little song, dropped a little track. And on the track, there are some receipts.
Receipts.
Yeah, so there's some receipts because we know that Rick Ross didn't have nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? But
Right.
Rick Ross came through with the verses. So you got to listen to the verses to be like, wait, what happened?
Yeah, about the willpower.
Yeah.
And her favorite artist was Tupac, and
Yeah. And then
jaded by her beauty.
yeah.
Ooh,
like giving you the okie
I'm
doke.
telling you. Yeah.
So we're gonna get into that, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, share, like, all that good stuff. But we're gonna get into it. Because not that we are trying to be messy or anything like that, but
Right.
you really want to understand why this is still going on, right? Because if we listen to Jada, right, I'm just saying it like this, it was an entanglement, right? If she would have just said it was a relationship,
Maybe, yeah.
it probably wouldn't have been all of this. But now,
Right.
but I gotta say this though. I gotta say this. If you say that August is feeling some kind of way,
I do what?
but he's capitalizing on this feeling some kind of way though. Have you seen that? Like,
Hold 1 second.
sure. So yes, everybody. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and get started, and then once we get into the actual conversation, we don't
I'm
want
so
to.
sorry about that.
No, you're fine. You're fine. We don't want to jump ahead of ourselves. We're gonna go ahead and get the intros in and get ourselves, situated, and then we're gonna let Shanita come in and tell us about this entanglements too. These receipts, because we want to just take a look at it. We want to take a look at it.
I feel well. Okay, let's go ahead and just do our brief because I'm kind of excited. I'm kind of excited about this particular topic because I think there's just so much more that just needs to happen in order for everybody to really get through the healing process. So I'm excited. You got to
Indeed.
I feel like I'm on 10 this morning. So
Okay.
I'll be breathing this morning.
Okay.
Breathing.
Let me go ahead and take a little sip first before we breathe, because I'm gonna have to make sure.
Don't take that on entangled sip.
Oh, an entangled sip?
Look, that's what you.
Okay. That's what I said. We were an entanglement. No, Jada, it was a relationship. No, but that's what I said. No, that's not what you said, Jada.
An entanglement.
You bring everybody to this red table talk, and you don't show them no slack. So why are we gonna show you some slack today?
That's what you know what?
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate you again. Share, like. We're here this morning, but as we do every morning, we want to always start off with taking a breath and acknowledging that our breath is important. During this COVID-19, it seems like it's going to go on for forever, but what we don't want to do is fret. So just take a moment, acknowledge that your breath is important, center yourself, and then go forward. And I think that is so important here with the thought to ponder, especially when we talk about a meeting in the family room, because sometimes we might talk about something you might not like, right? Or it may be a trigger, or it may be something that's going to set you off on a path. So take a breath, take it in, and then blow it out. And what we do is we do 3 breaths. So ladies and gentlemen, somebody asked me the other day, cousin, they asked me, well, why are you always explaining the breaths in the morning? I said, because I have people that come on that don't necessarily know us from before, right? Being on the radio show and stuff like that. And then I keep them up to pace. So I'll normally say a little bit about the breath every morning just to make sure that everybody knows what we're doing. So we're going to take those 3 breaths. The first breath, I'm going to count it out. So I'm not actually taking the breath, as one of my viewers so eloquently pointed out to me, that, that I'm cheating the system because I'm not taking 3 breaths. I'm only taking 2.
I agree.
So with that being said, look, ladies and gentlemen. I want everybody to be on the count. So that's the reason I count on the first breath. But I'm good. I'm good. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and take this first breath. On the first breath, I'm gonna count it out. For those of you that are viewing, I take the breath. I also use my hands, and as my hands goes up and they come down, when they get down to about right here, that's when I let the breath go. Right. So you can follow along like that. The first breath, I'm gonna count it out. The second breath, I won't count. But the third breath, once we release, we're gonna make some noise. There we go. Ready? On the count of 3, we're gonna take a deep breath in. 1, 2, 3. Deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, y'all. All right. What I want you to do is shake it off. Shake it off. Shake it off. So shake it off. And on the second breath, I'm not going to count, but I will do the hand movements. Ready? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Deep breath in. And out. All right, y'all. All right. All right. We're in this piece. We're in this piece. All right. Focus on it this morning. We're going to take one more breath. And remember, this breath, we want you to make some noise with it. We want you to let the universe know you're acknowledging the issue, the problem, the concern, and you're throwing it away. You're throwing it away. You take it, blow it away. Ready? On the count of 3, we're going to do a deep breath in. 1, 2, 3. Deep breath in. And
That was good.
yes, y'all shake it.
Woo, that was good.
You should feel a little tingly.
I didn't get to do my little yelp.
Yo,
But,
yelp.
little yelp.
Wait, is that thing you search on Yahoo?
Uh-huh. You got jokes this morning.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
You think how you gonna do me like that?
We got that breath in, ladies and gentlemen. We are on our way. Now, I think it's time for you to go ahead on and get lively because we got to be ready for this conversation. I think I heard you say that you wanted to groove. Do you want to groove?
They did. They did.
That what they said?
Am I beatboxing or how we doing that this morning?
You know what? I say we just go with the flow. However it goes. However it goes. All right.
Hey.
T2P, check this out. T2P, check this out. T2P, check this out. Check. You know what? Hold on. Look, y'all want to play with that right there. Y'all play with that right there.
I really believe that I have some New Orleans, French Quarter,
ancestry
going on in my bones. when I go to
Oh,
New Orleans, I feel the deepest connection.
uh-huh.
Oh yeah, that that was that. Not for me.
Okay.
I want to say the words that
I was
I
like, blip, 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 blip.
right. You was over there. I'm
Man,
telling you, it's like, don't you feel it sometimes? When you go to New
yeah,
Orleans, don't you feel something? You can
yes,
feel something.
indeed.
Mm.
Yes,
Oh,
indeed.
let's get it.
Woo,
Are
woo,
we
that got me crunk.
are we
That got me
introducing
crunk.
ourselves this
One thing
morning?
I was looking for was a red cup.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you something, Titan. They gonna think your
Yeah.
name is Cuz. Cause I be
Why?
like cousin. Every time I'm talking to you, I'm like cousin instead of Titan. So they're gonna
Uh,
start saying cousin after a while.
we look, we family like that. That's what that
We
is.
we for real family. Yeah, like
Mm.
for real, for real.
All right. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's kind of tart.
And start.
Right. Yeah, I got some orange juice this morning instead of coffee.
Really?
Sure.
So
Yeah.
you must be already awake then.
Mm. I
You
had
was
to be. I was moving oh so slow this morning. I was moving oh so slow.
y'all
How you get up and you see the clock.
uh-huh.
It's saying get up. The clock
Uh-huh.
is saying tighten, get up.
You talking about the snooze button? Did you hit the snooze? How many
Look,
times?
look. The clock is saying tighten, get up. And
Hmm.
Titan is saying shut up clock. And the clock is saying Titan, get up. Titan is saying shut up clock. And then Titan rolls over and look like, oh my God, look, I got 30 minutes.
Time to get up, right?
I hear him get up.
Right?
So cousin, tell us, look, I'm calling you cousin now. They ain't gonna know you by classroom management diva. They just gonna know you by cousin. So let's talk about it real quick. So everybody's been going back and forth about this Jada and this August thing. And then
Yeah.
goes and drops a song.
Yes,
And
he
in the
did.
song, he's dropping some receipts. Now, you have to be somewhat of a lyricist mm, to understand what's happening. You got to listen to Rick Ross when Rick Ross is talking about what's happening, right? Throwing
Right.
some Tupac, throwing some Will, throwing some Jada, throwing some how old or how many years and how long. And I was like, wait a minute, hold on. So,
Mm.
what do you think? So, first, before we get into the lyrics and we get into the receipts, right? What do you think this is going to do for the relationship of Jada and August? Will there ever be some reconciliation? Is it best not to have it right now? Or do you think there should be some type of reconciliation?
I think that, well, let me go ahead and introduce myself real quick.
Yes.
For you that don't know me, I'm a classroom management diva, aka Mrs. I'm here to help you get your ish together. While I'm getting my own ish together, because I got ish I got to get together too. Anyway, so yeah, I do believe that at some point, because it's obvious that there is still hurt that's there.
Mm-hmm.
So there's in going through the healing process, there's two things that can happen with that. She can come and find her way to apologize about the situation because she hurt him. And you can hear in the song that it says that you were trying to get back at your husband.
Mm-hmm.
He said that was cold blooded, which you did, and he was like, you wanted me to be your secret, basically, and I don't want that in my life. He wanted solid. He wanted a relationship. He wanted a woman, and so that was I guess partially that would probably be that one thing that I would say that would possibly give closure in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that there would probably ever be some type of relationship because it started off as an opportunity for her to hurt because she was hurting, and it just so happened that he was the person that just got caught up in it, and what Will and Jada had going on. So maybe Maybe it would be good. Or then there's the other thing where you can just say, you know what, God, I give this to you. If that's your higher power, or But in my situation, I would just say, you know what, Lord, it's yours.
Right.
Not necessarily having to go back to that person and get that type of closure or to give them that closure. Does it help? Absolutely. And I think that it could definitely, because he doesn't seem like he's just hurt, coming from a hurt place. You get what I'm saying? And he just wants to explain himself. Like you
Right.
did, and then to watch the video, I'm sure he's looking at it like when you're looking at things from a hurt perspective, your perception tends to shape and mold your thought processes.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
so you don't think from a clear perspective. You're more like seeing what you want to see, because now you're
Right.
upset. It's like, oh, she's saying this about me. But then once he gives himself time and he goes through his healing process, he can go back and watch that video and he may see something totally different. And he
Right.
may, in his own mind, think like, man, maybe I shouldn't have made that video. Or
Right.
maybe I should have made this song. So
Right.
he has those
I
two
think
options.
I think sometimes. Good morning, Danita. Good morning.
Hey,
Um,
Danita.
I think sometimes that we do stuff out of spite, right? And I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve to heal in whatever way he feel that he needs to heal. But what I'm thinking is I don't know that this is a healing, right? Because what it seems like to me is that he keeps not that he keeps, this is still fresh. It's not even a month old yet, right?
Right.
Um,
Well, it's
but he,
not a month old based on them coming out and talking
yeah,
about it.
right.
But what they're holding on to, who knows? They said it's been a long time. So who
Yeah,
knows how long he's been holding
right.
on to.
And
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. So it seems like if this has been some time ago, right? Quote unquote, as Jada said, it's been a long time ago. If it's been that long ago, then why is it so fresh on August's mind, right? On his way? Because she said that basically, without saying, she said that this would have never seen the light of day if it had anything to do with her. Like she wouldn't have said nothing. But the only reason she's addressing it now is because she has to, right? And I said, I don't know that that's the case in point, because it looks like, yeah, right, right. So I'm the same.
Yeah.
I'm the same way, because it's like I'm sitting here saying, okay, so we know that there was something going on here, because we could look at Will and tell when him and Jada was having a conversation. But when August was having a conversation with Angela Yee, you could tell, because he paused a number of times and kind of like gathered himself and then said, they both were saying it's no ill feelings, right? But this is what it was. And so I'm wondering now if it really was some ill feelings, because now here comes the track, and he can put it how he want to put it. Look, he a businessman and he capitalizing on it, or he's dissing her so everybody will know his side of the story. But if you've already told your side in the interview, why do you need a song now and throwing the little subliminals? You know what I mean?
Well, because she came out on the red table, and I think she left herself open for whatever criticism that comes with that.
Yeah.
That's the part about social media, or you even telling people your business. That's why
Mm,
it's important for you to, whenever, this is what I learned about myself, because I was a person that would just talk about my personal business because I felt like, oh, I'm just being transparent, I'm being real.
mm,
Do you get what I'm saying? And
right.
so you have to be ready for what comes with that, because at some point in time in my own life, I made a decision to come out and talk about some things. And maybe it's something that I should have kept to myself.
Right.
That was between me and God. And I learned throughout, I first learned not to do certain things. You get what I'm saying? I secondly learned about the intent, because I think that's what happens. We have intentions to do things, but we
Right.
never get to determine the outcome of
Right.
what we do. You get
Right.
what I'm saying? And see, when doing that, you open yourself up for criticism.
Right.
Open yourself up, but then there's still hope for the healing process in that transition. But that's what happens, and that's what she did. She literally opened herself up
True.
for whatever was to come. So I think that this is a big lesson for all three of them. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? For all three of them.
Yeah, and I think that hey cousin, Queen Tamara, hey.
Hey, girl.
I also think that what happened, but see, I think this is what happened when August so he opened himself up, right? I think what he did was he opened himself up to be talked about in a way. So he was trying to defend himself, saying he's not weak, he's not this, he's not p-whipped, he's not all this kind of stuff because he really, really loved. But when you put something out into the universe like that, you really cannot control what comes back. And so a lot of people went at August's neck because they was like, bruh, you just broke the bruh code. Like, even though it's not like ideal, it's not the way that it should be. An older woman, a younger man, da 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 da. That's applauded on this side, right?
Right.
If you flip it and it was an older man, younger woman, it wouldn't be the same thing, right? So
Right.
they were saying that basically, like, wait a minute, hold on. But I said when he mentioned that, and then Jada even said, she said, well, I don't know why he's talking about this now. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's going on, but I figure something happened recently that brought all this back to the table. And you know what I think happened?
I'm gonna tell you what happened.
What happened?
Okay, so you didn't see his documentary, huh?
No, I didn't watch the documentary.
Okay, so he has a documentary. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's in my queue, but I haven't watched it.
yeah. So there is a
The
documentary.
documentary?
Yeah, and it's been before the release of this conversation that he had or whatever. And it's fairly new. You know, I
That,
don't know how old it is, but
yeah.
I know it had to have been between March and now. And the reason being because he had a mask over his face. So
Ah,
that's an indication that it's during the COVID season.
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
And so so that's what he's coming out and talking about his life. And so in talking about his life, and doing this documentary about his life, you'll find that he wasn't no punk. You know, he was
Mhm.
this guy that he was in the streets or whatever the case may be. He's from New Orleans. I never knew he had the accent because I never heard him really talk. Just heard his music, but I never really just watched any interviews or anything like that with him. But when he's around his family, you can clearly hear the accent. And so he seems like he's trying to come into his own and come
Right.
into, going through this healing process. And I think what has happened is that he was probably trying to get it off of his chest as a form of healing. But when she
Mhm.
came back with her rebuttal, and I'm going to say rebuttal, okay,
Okay.
it may have triggered a
Right.
different response in him. And I think that that's what happens when we go through our healing process. We think that we're done, but there is something that is still within us that we
Mhm.
have no control over,
Yeah.
that we have to learn how to control. And it triggered him.
Yeah, yeah. And so Jada said she just knew her and Will were done. So I believe she made August feel like they had a future. And Jada turned around and went back to Will. And August was hurt. Hurt people hurt people. Her doing
Absolutely.
it on the red table was to capitalize off everything for her channel. She controlled that interview with Will, which is proof that the character of a woman is still major over a man. And in
Mhm.
reality, because she's done all of this stuff, and you're right, Danita, and good comment, because I believe she's done all this stuff with the red table talk about being real, about being straight up, about doing this and doing that. And then here come August saying, well, you haven't been honest. This is not some little fly by night thing that happened. This has been happening for some time. And now you have told Will the watered down version of this, and now here I come telling Will, oh, it was much more than that. And then not only that, he said I could go deeper, I could give dates, I could give times and all of that, but I choose not to do that. And so I think what happened, and I still believe before that red table talk, cousin, that she told Will
Mhm.
the truth, because Will looked like he was still like he was angry, number one. Number one, he was angry, but number two, he looked like he was hurt, like he had been crying, like. And then you could tell when he told her, he said, "Come on now, Jada. You people come to this red table talk all the time, and you tell them to be real. I need you to tell me what it was. What was it, Jada? What was it?" And by the end of the interview, still, which I know they had more conversation than that because they cut that. Will was like, oh, okay, then I'm gonna get you back. I'm gonna get you back. I owe you one. I owe you one because
Yeah.
obviously he thought that they were okay to the point to where it wouldn't have been like getting somebody on lock. And then not only somebody on lock, August, who had been to in their house, who had been part of their family, their home. He was like, so I don't know how deep it went, but I guarantee you, when somebody
She's
downplays
not,
us,
to me, she's not ready. She wasn't ready to, I don't know what, here's the thing.
mhm,
I guess when she came out, um, she wasn't probably ready to expose
mhm, mhm,
her truths. And
like,
that's the part that's going to keep her
yeah,
bound.
yeah,
You got to be willing, especially when you're trying to fix your relationship. You have to, it's two things that you have to do in that situation. The first thing that you have to do is you have to be as open and honest as you possibly.
mhm, mhm,
You know what I mean? So that's just like you ever see when those, let's say for instance, there's like this organized crime and then there's this one snitch, right? So they tell that one snitch or the person who,
bitches get stitches. No, just
yeah.
kidding.
So the officers or the investigators, they say, look, we're going to give you this deal and let you walk. But
Right,
you have to tell us the entire truth. If we find
right,
out that one thing is a lie, you mess everything up.
right, right,
You
right.
get what I'm saying? And
And
so that person has to come out and tell the full truth of their bodies, if there have been rapes, if there have been drugs, guns,
right,
anything that's involved. They have to point out names, addresses, monies that's probably hidden, so on and so forth. They have to tell everything at the risk of saving themselves.
right,
You get
right,
what I'm saying? And so she didn't do that. So she is not saving herself. Speak your entire truth. Give this man what he needs. But
yeah,
at the same time, if what he needs is for you to come out and have this talk, then
yeah,
you have to let him know when you're ready for it. Because
right,
that's another thing that we do, we feel like, okay, this is what he wants me to do. Let me do it now.
right.
If you know that you're not mentally ready for that, then you need to get mentally ready for that. Because when she came to that table, even though she may still be going through her
Right.
healing process, that part she may not have been ready for.
Yeah, and I don't think she was. So I'm gonna read Danita's comments real quick. She said, when somebody downplays us, we have that vengeful feeling kick in, and then stop playing in my face because basically that's what August was saying. He was like, I'm not gonna sit up here and sugarcoat this. Like it is what it is. But she even said herself that on the Red Table Talk that he was hurt and that he was healing and he was going through what he was going through. Will looked like he was sick to his stomach looking at Jada. Exactly.
He
You,
did.
his whole demeanor was different. Now, Will is normally he's a comedian. He's a
So
guy. He's a spiritual guy. I'm sorry, what the heck is happening? He's a spiritual guy. He's always upbeat and stuff like that. And even when they were talking about like serious family issues and stuff like that, Will did not look like he looked at that red table talk. So Danita, the reason I said this and to a cousin is that I believe that before they went on, Will asked the question and Jada told him the truth, how long it had been or how deep it went, and Will was not prepared for that. He was not prepared for what it was because throughout the whole interview, he kept switching. He kept like, and he was just like, "Come on, Jada, like for real, like for real." But when he said that I was done with you, that wrong, like that came hard. Like he was talking from a place to where obviously there was something, and I really want to say it was with August.
Yeah.
I want to say it was with August because the way he was talking, he was like, I was done with you. And then he said,
I don't think August was the root.
no, I don't think so. I don't think so. But
Mm-hmm.
I believe that there was already something there, right? I believe there was already something there because when he said it, she says, I know. And he said, well, what was it, Jada? What was it? Because, I was done with you. And I really wasn't even thinking like that. But what was it? And she said, I just wanted to be loved. I just wanted to, have. And then he was like, but.
See, that's the thing about relationships, though, is that we fail to realize that everybody's love language is different. And if you're not fulfilling the love that I need, because you have to understand, like in her situation, if she's a person that clearly opens up to say that I gravitate to people who need, who are in painful situations, that's where my love comes from, helping others and feeling significant through that.
Right.
And so there could have been some point in time in her life that maybe she possibly took care of someone, that maybe she was feeling flawed or insignificant. And there was that one time in her life where she may have taken care of somebody and got rewarded for it. And so now that's what my love is, I guess. This is what I'm called to do. This is the love. This is where my love comes from.
Makes sense.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like for myself, mine was through sex. I felt like that was love for me. If I gave you this, when I would have issues with you, let's go have sex. Let's make up for it. You know what I mean? Or let's go do this and make up for it. And so you have to have this detachment from what you believe your reality is based on your experiences in life. You get what I'm saying? Because people will give you things and you'll take on things that don't belong to you.
Right.
So she's taken on, this is my love because somebody awarded me in this area. And so now this is what I do. So then when Will comes and he's maybe giving his love, and his love is not her codependency thing. Like I'm not codependent upon you. I'm telling you to go love yourself. Go, you know what I mean? And he's not giving her that. Then it's like, he must not love me. He must not see the good in me. Like everybody else sees the good in me. Why isn't it that he sees the good in me? You get what I'm saying?
Right. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. So Danita said, tell Jada to give Oprah that exclusive. Oprah gonna get the truth out. Will is emotionally attached. And then she said, very ill prepared, especially when he assumed they took him in like family. And that's what I'm saying. Like we're not here trying to like give some conspiracy theory. It was in his body language. Like the way he was feeling was in his body language. Because I said to myself while I was watching the interview, I said, wait, did they just talk about the truth 5 minutes before this interview happened? Like, because if you notice, they were sitting across from each other at the table. Normally, they're either on a couch talking, they're either sitting like almost like side by side, and for the camera angle, they're like this way or that way. When he first spoke, you could tell it's kind of like this, cousin, kind of like, oh, you speaking, but you ain't telling the truth. You ain't telling. It was one of these. It was
he wanted more than what she was. Than what she was ready to give. I do believe that she does want to go through her healing process, but I think that the exposure part is the hardest part. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that mirror effect.
Yeah. But but I think sometimes we have to understand, and this is the old school saying, we all know this. What's done in the dark will come to the light. Sooner or later, you're going to have to meet your maker. Sooner or later, you're going to have to stand in that light and speak your truth. And when you do, you have to understand what that is. But when Jada first started talking, I said, come on, Jada, seriously? Like I have seen some of these red table talks where you talked about codependency, drugs, and this and that, and sexual this and that, and you've been real with that. But this is an entanglement. But you said something earlier, cousin, that makes sense. You didn't put this out here now. You didn't open yourself up. Now August is going to capitalize on you trying to capitalize on him. You know what I'm saying? So you did this. This is what I think Jada should have done, right? I
Yeah.
can't say what she should have done, but this is something I think that would have went better. Yes, August and I had a relationship. Yes, it was that. August, I am sorry. I didn't mean to, like, lead you on. I wanted to go back to my husband. Me and my husband had a relationship. Will, it was much more than, and I'm saying all of this like that. But if she would have phrased it in a way to where it was truthful and not her trying to beat around the bush, I don't think half of the stuff that's happening now. Now, here's the kicker. Do you think she's going to breach the conversation again? Because this is not going away, especially now that the song did drop. Now they're bringing more attention to it, right? And now, just like you just said, people are going to start going and looking at the documentary.
If they're gonna make it, this is gonna be the time for them to cleave to each other
Yeah,
the most
yeah.
and really go through a deep spiritual healing process.
Mhm.
Like, because that was, to be honest with you, I think that it was good for her. And I know it seems bad, but it may have even been good for her that he put the song out, because
Mhm.
now she's able, whenever you go through a process such as that, you get to learn about your emotions, and you get to learn about your triggers, and you get to see the outcome of your actions. So now she gets to truly get to see, like, who she's really been this whole time. Again,
Mhm.
that's the hardest part for you to deal with, is going through the mirror effect. I've gone through that before, where the mirror was held up in front of me. You know what I mean? But what I did was I took responsibility for the person that I had been. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But what I also did was take on the responsibility of how others had been to me.
Right,
And
right.
so if she is in that space, that's why she's not that. That's why when she was coming out and saying what she was saying, maybe she was also protecting him as well.
Yeah. And
Because
no,
she
no, no.
could
I'm
even
saying
said,
I'm thinking
yeah,
so.
she
I'm
said, I
thinking
wanted to
so.
feel love. So
Yeah,
maybe her being at that table talk, because
yeah.
everybody keeps saying it's Jada, it's Jada, it's Jada, but there could have been that moment where she was not saying as much as she wanted to say, because she didn't want more to come out so
Yeah.
that it would tarnish who he was. And
Mhm.
so that may have been her moment to protect
Right,
him, you know
right,
what I mean, from things that she may have experienced with him, because she said it
mhm,
herself. I just wanted to be loved.
right,
That's
right,
all I wanted.
right.
So it's
And
almost
then
like, do you
okay,
understand what I was telling you the whole time?
right.
Because normally when a woman goes out and cheats, it comes from an emotional perspective. You get what I'm saying? Even if the woman is like the side piece, because you got the side piece that more than likely is looking for something too. Whether she's gone through a whole lot of things with a lot of men, and so now she just don't give a damn. It's
Mhm.
like they all dogs, so I'm just gonna get what I can get because somebody will sleep with my husband. Oh well, if he loses his family, his house, that's between them. Or you have that one that says, I just need some love and attention and affection right now. Or that one that does it from an unconscious perspective that says, well, you know what? I think I'm in love with this person. Maybe this is the real person for me, because I'm spending time around this person. We're co-workers, but he's saying everything my husband is not saying.
Right, right,
Could
right,
this be some sort of a connection here? You're thinking all of these thoughts,
right.
but then your actions come into play, and then you screwed.
Right, and I think sometimes I'm gonna read Anita's comment, and then I'm gonna say what I have to say. Yeah, he did say because I was done with your ass, and he was so matter of fact. Exactly. So the thing that gets me is that when we go into relationships, into these ships, and all this stuff like that, we always say what the other person is feeling, or how the other person is not getting this and not getting that. And I sometimes wonder, is communication normally the barrier? It's normally the breakdown. Because if I can express to somebody, and I'm just going through playing devil's advocate, if I can express to somebody on a documentary about my healing, right?
Mhm.
About the situation that me and Shanita has, and I haven't given Shanita the option or the choice or the piece to even hear or understand what I'm saying. I just totally left it alone, right? Playing devil's advocate. Left it alone. When Shanita hears it, or when she sees it, or when everybody start calling Shanita saying, hey, you need to go check this out because he's over here saying blah, 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 blah. And Shanita's like, wait a minute, I just talked to him not too long ago. Well, he doesn't return my calls or he doesn't do this. You know what I'm saying? In the sense of that. So what is it then? Then on the flip side, now the other person has the opportunity to clear the air, right? To stop this train from rolling, completely just stop it and be real with it. I'm gonna tell you something that happened with me. I was dealing with somebody, and this something like this, similar like this happened. I was dealing with them, and I didn't know what was going on. The
Yeah,
other
you said
person,
that.
right, remember, the other person
Mhm.
in the situation knew what was going on, but failed to tell me when the ish hit the fan and everything started stinking.
I
I
like
looked,
to say
I
itch.
was, you know what I'm saying? When the ish hit the fan and everything started stinking,
Right,
I looked like the bad person. But
right,
I didn't know the situation. You know what I'm saying?
right.
It's a little different because August knew the situation, knew that they were married and so forth and so on. But again, it's one of those things to where you sometimes think, and like you said, like a side piece or something like that, you sometimes think that you can change somebody or
You
make
can.
somebody feel some type of way. But this particular person in my situation, in my entanglement, told me after the fact. And when I tried to break it off, then they blamed everything on me. I came after them. I was stalking them. I didn't know that you were in a relationship, that you were married. There's a
Mm.
difference there. There's a difference. Now that I know that you're married, I'm not going that route. And here's my thing. I'm not going to play with you knowing that you're married, knowing that your marriage is rocky or whatever the case may be. Here I come, a third piece to this marriage, and I'm going to corrupt something. And he said himself that I just want people to know I'm not a home wrecker. I'm not this, I'm not that. But in reality, they were not divorced. I don't, and I'm playing devil's advocate. They were not
Okay.
divorced. And you knew that they were, it's kind of like you knew they had problems. So you said, well, come on, Jada. You know what I'm saying? Even if Jada approached him
Yeah,
first,
I was about to say it could have
no,
been the other way around too.
right. But even if she approached him first, you know. But again, you were in a place to where he may have been thinking that I can do it better. I can make her feel good. I can make her, no, be better because she did it for me. So let me return the favor.
Let me
However,
ask. Yeah, go ahead.
but just however, it's funny how we how this is played out to where it's like blame, 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 but nobody is basically stopping and just saying, you know what, let me just stop it now. Because he keeps saying he loves them, Jada and Will, because they've done so much for him, but he's steady going down this road. So
What
I'm
if
trying to figure
let me
out what that is. Go ahead.
what if it's possible? Okay.
Hmm.
And let's go to what he looks at as a relationship because I think that we missed that part. We
Hmm.
put expectations on what people should believe and think as it relates to a relationship. Okay.
Right.
What if it's quite possible that what he's seen in growing up in a relationship, because this is what he explained in the documentary,
Hmm.
that he saw his father, his stepfather, who was very abusive
Hmm.
to his mother,
Right.
not so much maybe on the physical side, but verbal, calling them B's and H's and just so
Hmm.
disrespectful, right? And he on the other end may see the abuse coming from Will towards Jada. Not saying that Will could have hit her, or
Right.
maybe he was harsh. You know what I mean?
Right.
Maybe he wasn't as loving and affectionate. Maybe he seemed self-centered. Maybe there was something that he saw in that situation that felt the need to save her as well. Do you get what I'm saying?
I do.
Because
I
and
do.
this is based on what he knows in a relationship because he talked about his family life and how corrupt it was. You
Right.
get what I'm saying? And how his mother went through these situations. That's just like my son. If my son has experienced a man being abusive to me, or if he's, whether it's verbal or physical, he may go out and pick up a relationship with a woman who may be in a bad situation simply
Mhm.
because he knows he wants to save her from that because of
Right.
what he's experienced with myself and maybe his own father or stepfather or whatever.
Right.
And so he may gravitate to that. And so here we are from the outside looking in saying, you know what, he's a homewrecker. But in his mind, he may be saving a situation.
Right.
You
But
get what I'm saying?
but
That's
I
what I'm
get
saying.
you.
That is quite possible in
Yeah.
that situation because, again, let's look at what Jada said. She clearly stated to her husband, I just wanted to be loved.
Yeah. Yeah. So then that brings up another question though. Well, in the
Doesn't
same
make it right,
aspect.
though. Let me just say that
Because
part. Doesn't make it
I was
right.
gonna say, it don't make it right because
No,
even
it doesn't make it right.
in his mind, if he was being Captain Saver, that still don't mean right.
It
You knew
doesn't
that
make
they
it
were
right.
married,
Right.
and so I believe sometimes when we are trying to heal, when we are dealing with things, and I'm not making no excuses for August at all, because I think that you're grown enough to know when it's wrong. We used to say this to our employees when they started working for the bank or the electricity company. The dress code, right? If you have to think twice about what you're putting on, then probably it's not right. So if you had to think twice about this relationship, this
Right.
entanglement that you were about to get in, it probably wasn't right. But the thing that I keep focusing on and really trying to understand is the way Will did not know, no, because it sounds like it was downplayed, right? To the point to
Mhm.
where it was just a little fling or something like that. Now I'm talking about Jada. I'm not talking about other. And then when Will found out that it was much more, and probably because he saw that documentary, he probably went to Jada and was like, "Hold on, wait a minute, wait a minute. This is not what you told me. Like you told me that there was a little, you know what I mean? But you didn't
That's
tell
the
me
problem.
like
I
y'all
think
was,
more than anything,
yeah,
that's the biggest problem. The biggest problem in the entire situation is that when you bring your ish to the table,
right,
you and your significant other, you come out with the whole truth. You don't speak half the truths. And then you want to hold on to what
right,
you know that you've done.
yeah,
And he wants to hold on to what he's done. And you want to kind of downplay it. And then it's going to keep going on and
yeah,
on. It's like a revolving door.
mhm,
That's where the bigger issue lies.
yeah,
Because there is a union, okay,
yeah,
that was corrupted at the end of the day. August Alsina, he can start his life all over again. But there is a commitment that you have made when you have these vows, you make this commitment and you work hard on those commitments. But when you have things like this, like turmoil that comes in
yeah,
into the
yeah,
marriage, that's there to kind of disrupt it because we look at it and we say, but this is disruptive. You get what I'm saying? But truly, the way the universe works or the way God works, because I go with the God thing. You know what
right.
I mean? The way God works to me, there's always something that is put in your present to help bring those things that are out of you that don't need to be there in the first place.
And
So,
then you go ahead.
so if your spouse cheated on you, or let's say your wife cheated on you, maybe you cheated before, and
Yeah.
you're holding on to something and you're torturing somebody else for something that you've done. You get
Mhm.
what I'm saying? So then when it hits you, maybe you can see how the other person feels. Then
Right,
vice versa. You get what I'm saying? Or maybe there is an issue of you not taking care of home like you should be.
right,
Maybe that's the universe's way of putting things out there so that you can correct them. But if you tend to look at your cup half empty versus it being half full,
mhm,
then you're gonna keep going back to this situation over and over and
right,
over again until it's no more. I mean, fix.
right. Do you think that August was done and then people said, "Oh, she said entanglement. Do you know how much you can make off of this?" You know what I'm saying? Like this is your ticket. Like, so do you think that he was done with it, but then this opportunity came about for him to make millions off of this? One word.
No, no.
What do you
I
think?
don't believe that. No. What I believe is his hurt is still talking.
Yeah.
I really do, because even in listening to the song, he's
Yeah.
hurt. You
Yeah.
know, he wanted more out of that situation than he thought he had. He thought he was helping her.
Yeah.
He thought he had something. You know, you got to understand, he's a younger gentleman. Okay, he grew up with family issues. He grew up poor. He
Mhm.
talked about that. You know,
Right.
so now you're in this lifestyle, because he even talked about that in his documentary. He was like, I still don't feel like I made it, because I've been living poor mentally for so long that
Right.
when all of these things were presented to me, I just wanted to be normal. That's the normalcy he got with that family union thing. But then that goes back to, look at, you know, those triggers that he may have had from what his
Right.
stepfather did to his mother.
Right.
And he may have seen those things in Will, because Will may not have been a physical person. You know what I mean? But he could have been verbally abusive to her, or he could have just neglected her as a whole. I
Right.
know, I know a guy, he left his wife in the car overnight while he went in there to go hang out with his friends, neglected her totally. And she explained to him that I felt neglected with this situation, and it was like nothing. Do you get what
Right.
I'm saying? So there are small things that take place in situations that make you feel insignificant.
Right.
So in his mind, that may be what he's looking at, that situation.
Yeah,
And
and
he,
don't get me wrong. I think that you're right in certain things. Again, it doesn't make it right, but it's
no,
still in that aspect.
no,
Because it's the same thing. This particular, talking about my entanglement, this particular person keeps trying to bridge the gap, and I'm like, I can never trust you and what you were doing, because when the ish hit the fan, instead of you owning up to what it is that you did, you pursued me. You came after me. You threw me under the bus. And now this whole herd of people, every time they see me, I'm this, I'm that, I'm the home worker, I'm this, I'm so this is how I don't I don't side like with either one, because I think they both are.
no,
But
yeah.
but if I can be in August's mind for just a moment, when this stuff hit the fan and you made me out to be the culprit, like you didn't come after me, right? If you would not, I'm not going to say that if you wouldn't have advanced on me, right, that I probably would have played into it. But if you knew that I was so hurt, that I was so broken, that I was this, why would we even come to that point? On the other side,
What do you mean by that, cousin?
what I'm saying is, so if August is saying that it was more than what it was, right? Then
For him,
yeah,
maybe
right.
for him.
But if in this aspect, Jada said that she was all about helping and doing all of this, and she wanted to be loved. If this was the case in point, right? Then why would she come to August with this, or August to her, whoever made the advancement first, and why not cut it out and stop it? But then when the stuff hit the fan, all of a sudden now you're wrong because you approached me, or you're wrong because you approached me. You knew I was going through some stuff and doing all this kind of stuff like that. I'm saying both of them, at some point, it should have been a thing of, I'm done. Like, okay, so let
That's
me,
a big problem.
right, but let me take this situation.
Mhm.
So you said you knew somebody that the husband left them in the car all night and went in and did whatever. If somebody would have come to the car that you all know mutually and said, you know what, let me sit in here with you and talk to you. During that talk, that person touch you on the leg or caress you on the face or whatever have you, right? Now the person knows that you're married. You know you're married, but just because right now you're going through something, you understand what I'm saying? At that moment, there should have been on the person that got in the car with you, but on you in particular, because you know what's going on. I don't think that because I'm hurt or I'm angry or I'm going through some crap gives me a key to open a door like that and to
It
go
doesn't. It
now.
doesn't give you a key, but this is what it does, though. This
What
is
is it?
what happens when you don't deal with your insecurities. and when you don't understand your emotions.
Right.
When they come together,
Yeah.
you get what I'm saying? And that's on all sides.
Yeah.
That's on Will's side,
Mm-hmm.
Jada's side, and August's side.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what happens when you do not face your insecurities, when your love comes from what you can do for others or what somebody else brings to the table to you. Okay? Because now I'm giving you my love, and this may not be the love that you know. So I'm giving you my love, and I push this love away because I don't know this kind of love.
Mm-hmm.
So now my insecurities have kicked in, and I'm like, you rejected me. You know
Right.
what I mean? I'm feeling unloved. You get what I'm saying? And then your emotions get involved.
True.
And so what you're looking for, you know how they say the laws of attraction. That thing that you're looking for seems to come knocking at your door. And you pick that thing up and you say, right now, this feels good. You don't you think, but you don't think enough. You say, you know what? This just feels good at the time. That's like drugs.
Yeah.
You know, love is compared to drugs. They say people love crack.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? People love sex. People love alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because whatever that thing is, that insecurity is, or that pain, or that trauma that you have experienced, whenever you get that drug, guess what it does to you?
Yeah.
It numbs that pain.
And I was gonna say you're right, because love is a drug. Love is a drug. There's a euphoria that comes along with you being in love, that connection, that thing. And we know that it's cosmic. We know that it's spiritual in that aspect. But you're right, though. At a time, sometimes when you are down and out, you just want that feeling, that
moment.
love.
I need this.
Yeah.
I need this. And that's what happened with them. That's what I think, that whenever we're looking at these situations, that you got to look deeper than just the surface of what these people are dealing with. And I think that this is an opportunity for a lot of couples and people who are in married relationships, or people who are side pieces, or people who are allowing themselves to be entangled. This is the time for you to look at their situation and examine yourself, to say, what is it that it is that's in me that keeps attracting these types of situations? I just had a talk with someone last night about a relationship that is blossoming. And oftentimes you see people rush into relationships.
Yeah.
You know, and oftentimes abusers, you know, when they see a woman, there is a weakness that they spot in that woman or that man, and they hold on to them, and they don't give them the option to say no. So you have to have something within yourself that says, hey, what you're doing, why are you clinging to me so hard? Why do you automatically think that I'm the one after I just had a long conversation with you over the phone? What is it about me that makes you feel like now you're the one? You get what I'm saying? So a lot of the times they do that when they spot a weakness in you, and they hold on to you because of their own insecurities. They see two things in you. They see your strength, and they love your strength. They want your strength to be there because it makes them feel good. It makes them look good to have a certain type of mate. Do you get what I'm saying? It's a badge of honor for them. But then there's still that insecurity that says, I love what you have, but it may be too much for where I am mentally. And so now I need to break you down and take you down, because I can't allow you to have this thing when I'm here. And so there's no telling what they are going through mentally with this whole thing. So there has to be some deep healing in that situation with all of them, because now people are saying that Jada Pinkett is like somewhat of a narcissist. You know what I mean? It's like, this is, well, I can really do anything. You get what I'm saying? When a person is not able to fully own, I'm talking about fully, you got to come out with it all and say, look, I have been this person. I don't care if you got to go shout it to your family and say, I need help. Because I'm going to tell you what you're going to find. I guarantee you, if you go back into Jada's past relationships, okay, you're going to see a trail of the same shit. If you go into the back of Will's relationships, guess what? You're gonna find a trail of the same stuff.
Mhm.
People don't just start stuff when they get with you.
Of
They have
course.
it before they get to you. It's intensified by 10 by the time they get to you.
Yeah.
Because now I need to add something else to hold on to this because I just lost this.
Right.
So now I got this. Let me do extra to hold
Right.
on to this
Right.
thing.
Yeah. I think that like so I'm gonna go out on a limb here, not really go out on a limb, but I think we keep bringing Will into the equation as if Will is the negative that push the pendulum to the other side. Um, not on what you're saying, but I'm saying as overall because they keep saying will, but this is truly Jada and August, right? Because even if something happened on the other side of the wall, right? Jada chose to come around this side of the wall.
It
Even if
was a
something happened
choice.
on that side of the wall with August, August chose to come around on this side of the wall. And I think that we as a society, we always want to attack what coulda, woulda, shoulda. Now, although on this broadcast this morning, we have been talking about coulda, woulda, shouldas because we don't know the truth. We only know what's been put into
Right.
the limelight. But if you really think about it, it's not for Will, even being the husband, right, to be able to take away Jada's pain or Jada's issues surrounding August. And it's not for Will to say, like, everybody was talking about Will gave his blessing, Will did this, Will did that.
No, I don't believe that.
Of course not. Well, you can already tell the way Will looked on that interview. He didn't give nobody no blessing whatsoever. He looked like he wanted to flip that table over. That's what he looked like he wanted to do. Because I don't know if I would have come to Shanita, and this is us having this talk show together, right? If I would have come to Shanita and said to Shanita, Shanita, this is what I heard. This is what's going on. Can you please express to me what the deal is, right? And I gave Shanita the option, right, or the opportunity to tell me straight up what was going on. Then 6 months later, Shanita is sitting down at the red table with me. I'm totally oblivious because I'm thinking we good. And then Shanita says, "Oh, well, now Titan, da 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 da." And I'm like, "But hold on, Shanita, wait a minute. Didn't we just have a conversation like that? Didn't we just?" So I think bringing Will on was a way to kind of say it's not all my fault, right? It's not all my fault. We know
Right.
we know that there was something that triggered Jada to go this route. But I think it was wrong to bring Will to the table and say, okay, look, you want to know the truth? This is the truth. You did what you did, so I did what I did. That's what that is.
Right.
And then Will is like, well, wait. And literally his demeanor was like, okay, wait.
He did tell her he was gonna get her back.
Yeah, but come on, because let me tell you, it was one of those things like I just found out that you really was creeping, and I was not creeping because we had an understanding. You know what I'm saying? That we were good, and you told me that you were good, but come to find out you wasn't.
I
Like,
wonder what broke them up in the first place. Because that to me would say it all.
yeah,
You know what I mean? That to me, if he said that I was done with you,
thank
and then
you.
he says,
Mhm.
it's like, okay, well, what is going on? And then it's like, oh, I just wanted to be loved at the
Yeah,
time. It's like there's so many, at the end of the day, it's like this. In a marriage, or because we're going to talk strictly about marriage, because whenever there is marriage, there is there are vows and there are commitments,
mhm.
that you make.
Okay, so
And
hold on. So then let's give this final thought. So let this be your final thought on what you think, um, what should be done, what should we think about? Is this going to go on, right? and then let us know what your final thought is on that.
Okay, so my final thought is this. I hope that I'm going to say this in a marriage relationship, okay, and this is for the married couples, that you marry a person for better or for worse. And oftentimes, especially when the man is the one who's being cheated on, because it's at some point in your thought process, there's the ego that takes place that says that I can't forgive this situation because I'm a man and it's going to make me look like X, Y, and Z. Same thing, with the woman. There are certain things that transpire in a relationship with the woman where she feels that it's unforgivable.
Right.
But my thing to the married couples is if you chose to stay in a relationship, then there are things that you need to be doing with yourself, okay, to get your healing and your true fix, and likewise with that other person, so that your whole and his whole can be a better whole. Not you come with your half, I'm gonna come with my half, and we're gonna make a whole. It's not. That's only in arithmetic that two halves make a whole. Okay, in mathematics. Okay, so you got to come with your 100, and I need to come with my 100, and we need to come together, and we need to make things better. We need to make things right. In a situation with August Alsina, I feel that he really needs to come into finding who he is as an individual, and loving on himself and forgiving what he has looked at as a relationship, because what it has taught him is how to gravitate to broken people as well. You get what I'm saying? Or and maybe in some instance looking for a mother figure. So my hopes is that he heals from whatever he has going. Should it ever come up again, I feel like even a fire dies out without water.
Right.
But it dies with time.
Yeah.
So, sometimes you can throw the water on it and it's over with. But sometimes you have to, it'll burn for a little while. It'll just burn itself out. Right. And so it's one of those things that maybe there needs to be no more responses, because when you continue to respond to a situation, especially if they're trying to heal their marriage, I'm sorry that people got hurt in the process, but right now we need to focus on us, because anybody outside of us is not important. And I think that's what's important at this time. He needs to go get what he needs for himself, and they need to continue to work on just them and leave everybody else out of the equation.
Exactly. You better preach. That I do believe. I think my final thought is communication. I think that we have to always be in communication with each other about where we are, right? Because I went through a point in my life where I was broken, I was hurt, I was upset, but I did the opposite. I withdrew into myself. Right, I cut myself off from the world, which was not ideal, because it wasn't healthy to do that. However, you get to a point to where it's what's not being said, right? So I'm in this situation, but I'm not saying anything. I'm not doing what it is that I need to do, so forth and so on. So what I want to say to everyone or anybody listening or anything like that is communication. You have a relationship. You need to set expectations, and you need to know. I'm not going to take away the fact that August already knew that Jada was married. Jada already knew that she was married. Even if they were going through something, even if they had not had a divorce, whatever the case may have been, they knew. But the communication should have been there. August seemed to think one thing, Jada thought another thing, then it all blew up. But if we're going to be adults about this situation, we both were in an entanglement. It wasn't one side weighed heavier than the other. We both were in an entanglement. At some point in this relationship, in this entanglement, the communication was not had that this was going this route, this was going this route, or it was going to be this long, or it was going to be this short. There needs to be some communication. So, ladies and gentlemen, communicate with your partner. Communicate about your issues, your problems, your concern. Communicate about your trauma. Like, communication is key. There's no way that you can have a relationship. There's no way you can have a marriage. You can have an entanglement and not have communication. And if you think I'm lying, and if you think I'm not telling you the truth, then try it. Try it. Try to have something without communication. Try to talk to your people without telling them the full truth, or talk to them and tell them half truths, or talk to them and lie to them all the time. That communication can kill a relationship because it's always what's not being said. I tell you all the time that I love you, but I don't tell you that I'm over here sleeping with somebody that we have let into our house, into our family. I tell you all the time that I love you, but I can't truly tell you that I'm done with you because you're doing this and you're doing that. I tell you that I love you, but I'm steady fighting physically, mentally, abusing you. You got to be able to talk to somebody about what's going on. I don't know if this August Alsina and Jada thing is going to continue. I believe that it will because they both are not willing to talk to each other. I think they should talk to each other and hash it out that way. But I do believe that there's a little bit of a little slight pettiness on August's end because August is continually going to do this. Was it that it was money that you needed to make by doing this song? And if you say you didn't want to hurt her, you love her so much, then why would you go and do this song just to throw it back up in her face? Because you didn't get the results that you wanted because there was no communication. All right, ladies and gentlemen, peace and blessings to you. It's been a great day. It's been a blessed. It's been a Monday. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for tuning in. I want to thank you all for coming to the Thought to Ponder. I want to thank you all for supporting me. I appreciate you. Please go to my website, TitanCapri.com, under the Photogriffany store, photography and epiphany. That's what I like to believe that my photography is. So go there. There are numerous photos there. You can get a mug, you can get a cell phone case, you can get all of these things that you would like to have. So I say go ahead and do that, and then we will make sure that we are with you again on Monday. Peace and blessings to you, and y'all have a great day.